Hello and welcome back to Waulkings World. Today we're going to learn how to build a 3D cube using the 3JS website. If you haven't already done so, please download the modules for 3JS. Once you have them downloaded, we will go to our file folders here. We'll go find our 3JS model. Click on the master, and we will go to build. Then right click on 3 and copy. Once you have that copy, go back to the folder that you plan on building your 3D cube in, your HTML, where that's located. These are your HTML files right here. So I'm just going to paste this in. It's already there because I've already done it. So I'm just going to hit replace, which is fine. So the next thing we need to do is go over to our Notepad++. Now everyone should know how to build a basic HTML page by now. So I'm not going to go over that. I'm just going to go over what we need to pull in from the 3JS modules to make this cube work. So one of the first things we need is the actual 3.js, the file that I just saved in my folders, which is right here. 3JS, this one right here. That has to be linked to your text editor, which is in Notepad, which is the JavaScript code that we're writing. So right here, script src quotation marks 3.js quotation marks close tag script. That's what we'll call this 3.js JavaScript module to be able to pull the graphics that we need to form our cube. Now that we have our 3.js script linked to our Notepad++, we need to link the orbit controls that allows you to move the cube around in space. So if you just go ahead and put this in right here, script src orbit controls.js script. I'll give you a chance to do that real quick. Now also, in a previous video, we learned how to set up our scene. So make sure that this is all correct right here. We do a scene setup, we set up the camera, we set up the pixel ratio for the screen size and the scene size. We also set the background color. This is a hex code for the background color. Make sure that's all in there. Then here's where we set up the perspective camera and set up the width and height. Make sure that you've got your lighting turned on. This is the ambient light and this is the point light. Ambient light lights up the whole area. The point light hits the face of the cube. And then where we put in up here, orbit controls, make sure that we write a variable controls equals new 3.orbit controls. Like I said, we've already been over this. Just make sure that you have that in place. And then also make sure you have a camera position set at Z. It could be 180, it could be 200, it can be 150. That doesn't really matter. So the next thing we need to do is go back to the 3JS site. We're going to click on documentation, and up here in the search area we're going to type in geometry. All we got to do is just start it. Click on geometry, go down and find box geometry. Okay, so as you can see, there is a blue 3D cube in this screen. The only way we can access this is, like I said, download the 3.js master and make sure 3.js is in your folder. This code right here is the code to create the cube that is above, that is spinning right now. What we do is we copy this code and we go back to our Notepad++ and we paste it right here. So I've already done that. So to go line by line with this, var, that's a variable, geometry equals 3.box geometry 80 80 80. This is the length, width, and height of your cube. It doesn't have to be 80. You can make 100, you can make it 50, you can make it whatever you want. This variable is the material color, and right now I'm using dot mesh thong material. That makes it kind of reflect light and makes it kind of like a metallic shiny look. 6 zeros is black. You can go to CSS color picker and get a different hex code to make your cube a different color. The next thing is the mesh dot position set. This is where the cube is actually set in the scene. So right now we have it dead center 0 0, but pushed out 400 pixels away from the camera. So let's go ahead and run this to see what it looks like. Okay, so there's our cube spinning. As you can see, while it's spinning, you see the point light hitting the face of it as it turns, and then the ambient light just kind of surrounds it. So since I put orbital controls on it, I can push this thing any direction I want to. I can push it sideways, left and right, or I can scroll it in or take it out or back in. Okay, so let's go back to our code real quick. Now, how I made this cube rotate is right here. It's just another few lines of script. Make sure that we put in request animation frame and then parentheses render. Make sure you close it out with a semicolon. So we're actually creating a function to make this cube rotate. So it's a function render, then curly brackets, mesh dot rotation on the x-axis, mesh dot rotation on the y-axis, and then render dot render scene camera, request animation frame again, then close that out with a curly bracket. Make sure you have all of this code in correctly. So that's it for this lesson. I'll see you next week on Waulkings World. Bye bye.